Many a book is like a key to unknown chambers within the castle of one's own self. Youth is happy because it has the capacity to see beauty. Anyone who keeps the ability to see beauty never grows old. A book must be the axe for the frozen sea within us. I write differently from what I speak. I speak differently from what I think differently from the way I ought to think, and so it all proceeds into deepest darkness. I cannot make you understand. I cannot make anyone understand what is happening inside me. I cannot even explain it to myself. A first sign of the beginning of understanding is the wish to die. The meaning of life is that it stops. A non-writing writer is a monster courting insanity. You do not need to leave your room. Remain sitting at your table and listen. Do not even listen. Simply wait. Be quiet, still and solitary. The world will freely offer itself to you to be unmasked. It has no choice. It will roll in ecstasy at your feet. By believing passionately in something that still does not exist, we create it. The non-existent is whatever we have not sufficiently desired. I have the true feeling of myself only when I am unbearably unhappy. I think we ought to read only the kind of books that wound and stab us. It's only because of their stupidity that they're able to be so sure of themselves. I have spent all my life resisting the desire to end it. Writing is utter solitude, the descent into the cold abyss of oneself. I never wish to be easily defined. I'd rather float over other people's minds as something strictly fluid and non-perceivable, more like a transparent, paradoxically iridescent creature rather than an actual person. I usually solve problems by letting them devour me. Now I can look at you in peace. I don't eat you anymore. I do not speak as I think. I do not think as I should. And so it all goes on in helpless darkness. I'm tired, can't think of anything, and want only to lay my face in your lap, feel your hand on my head and remain like that through all eternity. This tremendous world I have inside of me. How to free myself and this world without tearing myself to pieces, and rather tear myself to 1,000 pieces than be buried with this world within me. As Gregor Samsa woke one morning from uneasy dreams, he found himself transformed in his bed into a gigantic insect. You are at once both the quiet and the confusion of my heart. I need solitude for my writing, not like a hermit, that wouldn't be enough, but like a dead man. In man's struggle against the world, bet on the world. In a way, you are poetry material. You are full of cloudy subtleties I am willing to spend a lifetime figuring out. Words burst in your essence, and you carry their dust in the pores of your ethereal individuality. May I kiss you then? On this miserable paper, I might as well open the window and kiss the night air. People label themselves with all sorts of adjectives. I can only pronounce myself as nauseatingly miserable beyond repair. You can hold yourself back from the sufferings of the world. That is something you are free to do, and it accords with your nature. But perhaps this very holding back is the one suffering you could avoid. Beyond a certain point there is no return. This point has to be reached. It would have been so pointless to kill himself that, even if he had wanted to, the pointlessness would have made him unable. My peers, lately, have found companionship through means of intoxication. It makes them sociable. I, however, cannot force myself to use drugs to cheat on my loneliness. It is all that I have. And when the drugs and alcohol dissipate, will be all that my peers have as well. Most men are not wicked. They are sleepwalkers, not evildoers. Written kisses don't reach their destination. Rather, they are drunk on the way by the ghosts. We photograph things in order to drive them out of our minds. My stories are a way of shutting my eyes. From a certain point onwards, there is no longer any turning back. That is the point that must be reached. I dream of a grave, deep and narrow, where we could clasp each other in our arms as with clamps, and I would hide my face in you, and you would hide your face in me, and nobody would ever see us anymore. Just think how many thoughts a blanket smothers while one lies alone in bed, and how many unhappy dreams it keeps warm. Last night I dreamed about you. What happened in detail I can hardly remember. All I know is that we kept merging into one another. I was you, you were me. Finally you somehow caught fire. You are at once both the quiet and the confusion of my heart. Imagine my heartbeat when you are in this state. All I am is literature, and I am not able or willing to be anything else. Do you know, darling, when you became involved with others, you quite possibly stepped down a level or two. But if you become involved with me, you will be throwing yourself into the abyss. They're talking about things of which they don't have the slightest understanding anyway. It's only because of their stupidity that they're able to be so sure of themselves. It is not necessary to accept everything as true. One must only accept it as necessary. A melancholy conclusion, said Kay. It turns lying into a universal principle.